Well, hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday lunchtime, which means it is time to be talking about how to cope with our feelings. Hi, Jody. And for those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin and does a wonderful job of looking after everybody and keeping me in check. And just great to see you here. And so for all of you who might be watching for the first time or watching on the replay, a big welcome. I just want to tell you that we do 3 broadcasts a week. And the first one is the Friday lunchtime, 1 noon Pacific Standard Time. And we talk about coping with feelings. We do another one on a Friday evening at 7 o'clock, where we talk about coping with life in general. And then another one on Sunday afternoon at 3:30 Pacific time, where we talk about coping with stress. So we have 3 different areas of concentration each week. And this week, hi, Autumn, good to see you. And this week, of course, I'd like to just acknowledge the fact that it is Friday the 13th, so anything could happen. And, with my luck, that could. And I'm going to give you some, I've had an incredible feeling, amount of feelings rather this week. And I just wanted to make sure that you all are aware of the fact that it's not just you, right? And I have the same. I repeat this on every broadcast, but because I think it's important for us to remember that coping means to invest one's own conscious effort to solve personal and interpersonal problems in order to try and master, minimize, or tolerate stress and conflict. And boy, did I have a lot of practice on that one. Autumn's saying, I've had the weirdest day. Sobbing to laughing, happy to mad to sad. Wow, that is incredible. Any idea what's triggering it? Because, from my experience, it's not by chance, right? Something has triggered that. And just so that we all are, hi there, Sandy, good to see you. Just so that we are all aware, the discussion I'm going to have comes from somebody who's lived a long time. I haven't got a fancy bit of paper or anything else. So all the comments you're going to hear are either because I've done a bit of research on it or just that it is my personal experience. So just so that you are aware of that if you are new to the broadcast. We are an extended family at DearMamaSal. We help each other. We hold each other's hands because, life is full of feelings. It's full of problems and it's full of stress. And if we learn that that is okay, then you understand, then we can cope a lot better. Our emotional intelligence comes up. We know that it's not about having these things come at us. It is all about how to cope with them. All right, Autumn's saying, I'm 28 weeks pregnant. Well, that's with twins. Yeah. Your food order was wrong. I was stressed about a big event this morning. I was in charge of my daughter. Didn't want to go to preschool. Yeah, grandpa's funeral tomorrow. Okay, so Autumn. Come close to the computer, Autumn. You are allowed to have a roller coaster of emotions going on with all that, really. In fact, I would say that if you haven't got a roller coaster of emotions, you would be Superwoman without any feelings whatsoever. So, big hug. And just know it's okay. Jody's saying, I had a breakdown over burnt tomato sauce. I understand. I felt like an idiot for getting upset. Well, hello. Guys, how would you like this one? For those of you who don't know, I'm living in rented apartments because I had a house fire just about 5 weeks ago now. And it was pretty dramatic. And this morning I'm getting dressed, and suddenly the fire alarm goes. How many of you can imagine the feelings I had about that? And it was just like, no, you got to be joking. Not again. And very luckily, can any of you feel the stress of that? I think the only word I can think of is incredulous. It's like, really? I was saying, don't do this to me again. Yeah, Autumn saying, I bet you had a trauma response to that fire alarm. Actually, I had a really, how can you do this to me again? A response. It wasn't actually as traumatic as you think, until, because it was just a blip and then it didn't continue. And so I thought, okay, somebody did something. But about 20 minutes later, it blipped again. Now, I don't know about you guys, but once I can just go, okay, that was a little whatever. Twice, now I'm worried. Makes sense. And so the truth is that at that point, I phoned the management company of these apartments. And I said, have you got a fire inspection going on of any sort that I should know about? Now, are you ready to roll your eyes, people? Because join with me on this one. They confirmed that there was a fire inspection. They were doing something to one of the panels. And they said to me, but it was posted in the elevator. And I said, that's very useful when we're in lockdown. Just a little snippy on my part, but it was like, if we are in lockdown, how many people are using the elevator? I would think not very many. And in a pandemic, how many people are using the elevator? I don't know about the rest of you, but I use the elevator as little as possible. And now I found out if I want to know what's going on in this place, I have to take the elevator. What emotion does that bring up for you? What feelings do you have about that logic? They even suggested, by the way, that I leave my apartment, call the elevator, get in it, read the instructions, and get out again. And I said, really? And they obviously got my my voice tone enough that they actually agreed to check it for me and call me back. I said, that would be very kind of you. Thank you so much. We're just like, but Autumn, all right, allowing for the fact that you have fluctuating emotions at this time anyway, can you, I think the word I would want to give you is, can you forgive yourself for being human? Because, you know, if you've had a stress response already this morning because of a big event, your daughter didn't want to go to preschool, that's stressful, and then it's grandpa's funeral tomorrow. So, I mean, I think you'd be pretty unusual if you weren't having that roller coaster. You're giving yourself lots of grace. I'm good to hear it. And by the way, try and get them into compartmentalized boxes, all right? I'm 28 weeks pregnant, therefore I'm bound to have a little bit of an emotional reaction, and put it away, okay? One box. My food order was wrong. Yeah, does getting angry about it or more frustrated about it make it different? No. Therefore, put it in a box and put it away. Oh, before you put it in a box, is there anything I could do next time to do this? I want to tell you, I've had 3 food orders that didn't come through properly, but you know, I just know it's part of ordering food online. So put it in a box and put it away. All right, now take the next one. I was stressed about a big event this morning. I'm presuming that that event either has happened or is no more, in which case, let it go. All right, you can't change it. This daughter didn't want to go to preschool. Oh, that's very upsetting to you, right? But I presume you got her there. And if so, it can go in a box and go. And I totally understand the emotion about tomorrow. But how about you agree to deal with that emotion tomorrow and get on with today? Hello, Beth. Good to see you. So we are an extended family of people who help each other during the week. And I'd like to say that above all else, we're a group of people who care about one another. And I'd also have to say that we, together, by helping each other, grow emotionally. We learn the tools that we need to grow emotionally. And I want to give a big shout out again this week to Lauren. For those of you who know Lauren, Lauren is already in a situation where she's in a lot of pain because she's got a lot of problem with her shoulders. She's got bursitis, is it? And she's got another couple of things. But that makes it all the more difficult when you hear that Lauren is in a wheelchair, and therefore the use of her upper body is dependent on those shoulders. And she has bursitis and arthritis. Thanks, Jody. So that's already going on in her mind. So she's in pain every day. The next thing is her mother was taken to hospital and was meant to be transferred to another hospital to have some tests done. And they messed that up. What amazes me is how incredibly level-headed Lauren has been about this. In other words, she says, this has happened, it is what it is, moving on. Absolutely amazing. So, Autumn, take it from somebody who's learned to put things into boxes and put them aside, because worrying about them is not going to change them. Getting upset about it, I'm certain getting upset with your daughter for not wanting to go to preschool doesn't fix it, right? There are other things that need to happen. And so I'd like to say that thank you for talking about it, because there are going to be other people either viewing in the background right now or other people who may be watching it on the replay who will totally relate to what you're saying. And that is what it's all about. Now, Autumn's saying, I may be in and out picking up my daughter from preschool now, so we know she got there. All right, thank you for letting me vent, everybody. That's what we're here for. And, have you found that having that quick vent just helps? That doesn't go on for days or hours, just a quick vent. I assure you that I had reasons to vent this week, and I'm going to be talking about that. So I thought I'd give you a quick quote from the mailbox. Do you remember I did that little bit about wearing face shields? And I actually prefer wearing a face shield to wearing a mask, because people can see my face, and that I don't know why. I think that's a better way to go. And I think that solid perspex, is a better barrier than just material, but I could be wrong. And I'm certain you guys will let me know. But Dottie wrote to us and said, brilliant idea with the inbuilt glasses. Yes, I like my face shield because it's actually put together on a pair of glasses and they go over my glasses. Jody's saying, Sal and Lauren, listen to me vent about the tomato sauce. It was so helpful to process the upset. Okay, so Jody, they weren't just any tomatoes, right? And perhaps you can just remind me, San Romeo, I think, tomatoes. Did I get that right? I know that I actually didn't have any knowledge of that. So I'm going, what the? And I went to San Marzano. Okay, Marzano. And so anyway, what I did was I Googled it and I found out that obviously with a name like that, they come from Italy, but they also come canned, but it's an expensive can of tomatoes. So I could understand why Jody was upset on multiple levels. Number one, she burnt the sauce. Number two, burning a sauce is bad enough, but when you're doing it with expensive tomatoes, that's a double hit. And so for any of you who've ever made a mistake, do you have anything that you would like to share with Jody? All right. Like, been there, done that, Jody. And, all credit to Jody. She had a little vent about it and then moved on. But, it is amazing how, Jody, may I ask you, what went through your head when you realized that you had done that? What thoughts did you have? And because that's really important for people to relate to, is like the moment that sort of thing happens, what thoughts, what feelings, what goes through your head. And while we're waiting for her to Jody to respond to that, I just wanted to give another shout out to Lynn, who is one of our viewers, who has been taking an inordinate amount of time to redesign some banners for me, the ones that you see on the top of the Facebook page and stuff like that. And not that I asked her to, she just every year or so, she suddenly starts doing it for me. And what can I say? I feel very blessed and very honored and very delighted that she cares that much. And it's just like, wow, aren't I lucky? And again, another thing from the mailbox, we heard from Mulberry Mugwump. Now, I know that I should remember the name on that. Maybe Jody will. But she said, it's lovely seeing you, Mama Sal. It was on the video that I did about stress, I think. About I think I put up a clip on it. It's about the basics, about depending on what sort of nurturing you had as a child will affect the way you process things. Anyway, she was saying, you articulated the objective so well. This is the exact reason I come to your channel, to seek the love, nurture, comfort, strength, stillness, and calmness that maybe I didn't receive and yet needed so badly. I lost my mom when I was very young. I see you as a mother and grandmother figure that holds my hand through life. I am forever indebted to you and to Louise Hay. Well, I don't mind telling you, I wrote back and let her know that I considered being in the same sentence as Louise Hay. It was pretty powerful as far as I'm concerned. Yes, I've got a feeling Mulberry, yes, she's pops in every now and then, right? And you think, Jody's saying, I think she's from England and studying medicine, if I recall correctly. Okay, well, thank you for that, Jody. I'm not aware of any birthdays this week. So if I've missed one or anybody knows of one, please let us know so we can add it to our list. And make sure you follow us. If you are new, follow us on by clicking the bell here. First of all, subscribe, then click the bell, because the bell will give you any notifications that we have. And that's a good thing to do. And then when it's going to ask you, do you want all the notifications? And I would recommend saying yes, because then if I have a comment that I put up or whatever, you're going to be advised of it. And so if you haven't followed us on Facebook and Twitter, please do so. I want to just say that part of who I am is just a human being. And I think sometimes people are inclined to put me on a pedestal that I actually don't belong on. And I want to tell you, I got some pretty good feelings going this week. And so, relating to Autumn and her emotional roller coaster versus being calm, because there are two sides. One is being on the emotional roller coaster, what I call the hamster wheel, and the other is getting out of it and just dealing with facts. And if you're dealing with facts, it's amazing how calm you can be, as long as you stay out of the hamster wheel. You'll get popped back in there every now and then when you want somebody else to fix it, and then you realize only you can fix it, so you get off the hamster wheel. But I was advised this week, in fact, a couple of days ago, that the permit for the rebuild of my house is about to be approved. They think it'll happen pretty soon. Now, I know that some of you would be very excited about that. For some reason, it triggered me in a negative way. And I believe the reason that it did is because I am so aware of how many instant decisions I am going to have to make about everything. You know, what color do I want on the walls? What wallpaper do I want? You know, they'll probably give me 3 and say, choose one of these. They're going to, you know, all those sort of things. What flooring do I want? And so all these things are going to be coming at me really fast. And the other thing that they told me was that they had 3 different quotes. And I need to decide which one of the 3 I want, knowing that my insurance company will probably go for the cheapest one. Obviously, I've had a lot of communication already with the people who've already packed up my house and done everything. So psychologically, it goes, I'm certain that some of you will agree. It's natural for me to want to use them, but their quote was a little bit higher than the cheapest one. So I'm now trying to get hold of the person involved there and say to them, hey, I just need to let you know your quote's a couple of thousand higher than the next one. Any way you can bring that down a bit, and if so, I'll be able to use you, or you'll be able to be my choice. Jodi's saying that in terms of what happened to me, you felt the pressure of things starting in motion, the decisions that are required. I can understand that. And she sent hugs. I thank you for that. And that was really part of it, Jodi. That the other part of it is, this business about having to decide on a project manager. So that is about, does it really matter? I am certain that all 3 of them are equally good, but, it's like these people have already looked after me to this point, and I've liked the quality of service from them, so why would I not want to continue? So to me, I don't know about you, it's like almost an obvious choice. What do you think? Better the devil you know than the one that you don't. For some reason, there's a reason for these adages to go through my mind, I'm sure. Hang on a second. I'm struggling a little bit with a cold, and I'm just getting a little warm. I could be stripping down any minute now. So now I want to tell you that I had that anger, joy. Did any of you have any anger or joy feelings this week? I had great joy in actually going and collecting my Wii. That's not what you think it is. Right, that's the Wii machine. Why does that, W-I-I, Wii, not W-E-E, Wii. I was not collecting my Wii, no. Okay, I'm definitely going to have to take this off now. So the interesting thing was there was joy about going and collecting it because I'd been waiting to collect it for some time. But you're probably wondering, why were you angry? Well, I was angry because what I found out was they had removed all the batteries. So that meant that I couldn't do anything. Interesting. Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Sandy's asking me, did I find what the cord was for? I've got to find that cord again. What did I do with it? No, but what I will do is I will actually go, just let me get it, because maybe a viewer will know what it is. Just hold on 1 second, everybody. I'll be right back. It's a very good point. Okay, so in case somebody knows what it is, this looks like it plugs into the back of the console probably, but it's got this little thing here, and then it's got another one of these. So this is what it looks like. I want to tell you, I wonder whether it was like for a, my thoughts were, did it have something to do with recharging? Because there isn't a recharging unit with it. And this makes me think, yeah, I thought about the HDMI as well. But I'll have a look at the HDMI plug and see if it's the same. This one, anyway, so I'm pretty certain if you've seen this before, you'll go, oh, you know, that's the so-and-so. That's what I'm hoping for. Somebody will recognize it. Thank you, Sandy. So that was another bit of anger, like, the heck is that? And I can assure you, I checked the back, but the problem is all the slots at the back of the console are already filled. So, but maybe it goes from the television to something. And I'm wondering whether that goes into like a Game Boy type thing. You know what I mean? What do you call it? A hand thing. But, you know, it's a very short lead, right? Weird. So what I also did is I've got most of it working. And what I did is I just kept saying, do the best you can. Now, the anger about no batteries. Now, if I were at home, this wouldn't be a problem. Oh, that's a good suggestion. Jody's saying maybe it's like a sensor bar or something. It does have a sensor bar, and that plugs right in. So I will check the connection on that to see maybe it's for a bigger one. Very good point, Jody. Anyway, so no batteries. If I were at home, I would have just gone into the laundry room, opened up the filing cabinet that's in there where I keep all the batteries. But as you know, everything's in storage. I'm in a rented apartment with no batteries. And so here is the thing. They then got creative. How many of you know that's the way my mind works? No batteries, no batteries. And then I'm going, what do I have with batteries in it? And I'm going, but guess what? All three of those had the wrong batteries in them, not the ones I needed. And then I suddenly thought, you know something? I have got motion detectors. And I've got one motion detector that had batteries the right size. So now I now have a step forward. I now have a console that works. It took me a while to find out what this thing was, but you know, we're getting there step by step. And I want to talk a bit more about this tonight because I think it's important to know the difference in my life for having got it already. So I then thought about the anger and joy about the batteries. Okay, I've got a Pro 10 thing. I can just have batteries delivered with my grocery order. But what I decided to do was to get rechargeable batteries with a recharger. Now, you and I both know that I've got two of them at home, but I'm not at home. And the things that were at home are in storage. So therefore, as we don't know how long, hi there, Ashley, good to see you. As we don't know how long it will be, I just decided bite the bullet, and I'm going to ask the insurance to pay for it because I need it, and I would have had it at home, and I haven't got it because I'm not at home. And we'll see whether they will. By the way, there was a little bit of a discussion about that this week that got me a bit upset as well. You know, the sort of things that they are going to be giving me the list any minute now of the things that they took out of the house and are not going to be able to clean. And that list, I just even thinking about it, you can probably see, that list scares me, right? Because they're going to turn around and say, this was your box. And you know, the thing, I know it sounds really strange, but I had a memory box that I never did get to show you guys, but it was high up, right where all the water was. So I'm pretty sure that they have not been able to save that stuff that was in there. But, you know, it's just memories, and I've got them in my head, and such is life. Can you see that getting upset about it isn't going to change the reality? I would rather presume that they weren't able to save it and be pleasantly surprised if they did. And that's part of my emotional intelligence. It's how I process things. I actually prefer to imagine that the worst has happened and deal with that, grieve that. And then if they say to me, hey, we were able to save half of them, I will be pleasantly surprised. The next thing is that under the emotions, did any of you have any fear or great confidence feelings this week? Because, you know, to me, it's like, what is fear? It's a lack of confidence, right? And so I did. I had a fear reaction about, what do I do now? Do I spend the money that I don't necessarily have? Or I have, but, you know, I don't have a lot of money in my life, but do I spend the extra money and get the upgrades done to bring things to code? I know that it would add to the value of the house, but it would also take away from my quality of life, if you like, because I'd have less money. And so to me, it's about the balance. And I guess what I'm going to do is the other thing, let me tell it to you in a way that makes practical sense. They've pulled the microwave off the wall, and the microwave has a venting system for the oven, for the range, right? And it's not vented to the outside, and I believe it should be. Does anybody know about that? And so for me, this is about, if while they've got the microwave off the wall, this is the time to do that proper thing. The other thing is the microwave was not wired separately into the fuse box, and it needs to be. So that, you know, I need to bring it up to code. Now, not a great deal of money. However, I am also aware that they may or may not approve the complete re-roofing of my house. What if they only re-roof the first section, the 1/3 that was hit by the fire? You know, I would then have to pay, because it wouldn't make sense, right, to have a roofer only do 1/3. The whole lot needs to be done. And so I would have to pay that extra to have the rest of it done. So Jody's saying, if it improves quality of life and safety, that's peace of mind. Yes, and that's where my mind is at, which is, you know, I think this is the time to do it. And, you know, it's just a case of how much would it cost. I had feelings as well, and I don't know if any of you had any frustration feelings or peaceful, because I think those are the opposites, right? Either you're frustrated or you're feeling peaceful. I was frustrated for being back in lockdown. But on the other hand, I was peaceful for the fact that I'm alive to be able to be in lockdown. I felt safer for being in lockdown, but I had to cancel lunch with a friend of mine who was coming to have lunch with me. So that upset me. And then for some reason, I started to get frustrated about Christmas, that I have done nothing about Christmas. And normally I finish Christmas by now. And so I am way behind the 8 ball, but I got a feeling I'm probably not the only one. So your smart cookies, I'm pretty sure that you've got lots of comments about that. And I just have to say to myself, number one, talk to your friends. They're all going to know what's going on, not only because of the pandemic, but because of the fire situation. And, I'm pretty certain that all of my friends are going to understand that they're, I'm not going to be able to do some of the things I would normally do. But then I had to ask myself, and I wonder if any of you relate to this, I had to ask myself, how much do I want to use this as an excuse as opposed to getting organized? Do you understand the difference in that? Jody's saying, I have prepared 0 Christmas except for a little cookie dough. It's going to be a very different Christmas from the past few years. Yes. Hi, Bernice. Bernice is saying, for Christmas, the best you can give us is to be alive and well. I think everyone is agreeing to that. Yeah. Well, that's very kind of you. And I'm pretty certain that my friends would say the same thing. So, it is, I think a lot of us, and as I said, today is Friday the 13th in 2020. I mean, I am going, can you imagine? I got up with Friday the 13th in 2020, and then the fire alarm went off, and I just went, really, you got a sense of humor. We're just like, no more. So I just want to make sure that you understand. All right, so Bernice is saying, it's not an excuse. Presents are just material things. Your presence is more important. Yes, presence as in my being here for my friends. But I don't want it to become the excuse either. So starting Monday, I am going to start thinking about the children, because I need to get presents sent off to them. And then I also ordered up some flour, Jody, ready to make some cookie dough. I thought that was a good idea, what you did, because if the least I did, and by the way, I'd like to give you a tip on this one. What I do when I bake cookies is I go and buy some reusable containers so that the gift is not just the cookies, but the container they get to keep. Does that make sense? And, it's amazing, how that helps. It's just like, here is a container with cookies in it. So I haven't found anybody that, actually, I had somebody say, do I need to return the container? I said, no, that's for you. And so that was a nice sort of bonus. Now then, talking about the happiness and the sadness, because those are the opposites, right? I was happy to hear that they are getting close to getting the permit, because that means the first thing they will do is redo the roof. Once they've redone the roof, they will seal the house up and then do an ionic cleaning inside the house so that everything, you know what an ion cleaner is? Jody and I use it for our CPAP machines. Hang on one second. I'm going to have to call them back. I just want to send a text to let that person know. Just bear with me a second. That's the restoration people. I'm certain you'll understand that I need to get back to them. Okay. So apparently they've also left a voicemail. Sorry about that. Hi, Jeannie. Good to see you. So I got excited in terms of happiness and sadness. I got excited because once they've done that ionic cleaning, that means probably the next thing they will do is to replace the bathroom. So I'm going to get a new bathroom. So happy about that, but then wondering how much, do I spend the money and do the bathroom that I wanted in there, or do I do as little as possible and just have them replace the bathroom, shower, and those sort of things. The place is absolutely, the bathroom is empty. Everything is gone. So absolutely everything that was in the bathroom will need to be replaced. So, and the question is, how much will it cost for me to get the bathroom that I wanted? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm going to need to speak to the contractor and find out. So that means I need to write to, that's why I'm trying to get through to the restoration people to say, I need to speak to the contractor because I need a couple of quotes on the side for things I might want to do. And I'm pretty sure they will ask me to pay for that upfront. So that's sad, but it's reality. And I, to me, it's like, it's already being rebuilt. I would just have to pay the extra to get the upgrade that I want. Does that make sense? So the whole bathroom is covered for just replacing what was there. Yes, but do you understand the difference? Hang on a second. Let me try and show you this. Sometimes it's easier to see it visually, Bernice. So let's say that what I had in my bathroom was, I had a corner shower, all right? And so the corner shower, and then I had a cupboard here next to the shower. And so what I want to do is turn this area into a wall-to-wall shower that I can walk into with a walker if ever I need to. Or how much would it cost if I got one of those walk-in type bathtubs with a shower? That's what I want to know. I'm thinking it probably is cheaper to just do the upgrade. Now, so this is the point. They already have, the insurance will pay to have the shower replaced, not a problem. But they will replace it exactly as it was. And exactly as it was difficult for me to get into, even with the mobility I have. If I had a walker, it would be impossible. So I might need to talk to the contractor and say, if I can get rid of this cupboard, all right, and have a shower where the door opens in a better way, I need some options. I want them to give me some options. Make sense? And I'm laughing at myself because my fingers are not meant to be the cleaner. Judy's saying, I had to say, on advice of my lawyer, I will not promise not to try and waive these from the town. Finally, they gave... Oh, you're saying that you weren't going to pay your taxes because of the permit thing. Well, I'm pleased to hear it. Looks like mine's coming through any minute now as well, Jeannie, so that's awesome. Anyway, so do you guys understand the decision I have to make? And I need to work with a contractor. I need to find out what are my choices, or, I'd like 3 options. Number one, that they replace it as it is, bearing in mind I need to be able to get into it. The door must be such that I can get into it easily with a walker. Number 2 is that I do a wall-to-wall shower. When I know, and number 3 would be how much to get a walk-in tub, one of those ones where you shut the door afterwards. So I do have a bathtub in the other bathroom. So, but, it's like at my age, maybe one of those with the jets in it would be a really nice thing. So why did you have to pay $5,000 more, Jeannie? Just so I understand. You paid your taxes. You also had to pay over $5,000 more. Okay, that's what I need to, I'm not quite sure why. So let me know. So really what I think my big thing is this week is I can feel chaos coming, and I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't do chaos well, right? I'm pretty organized in my life, and I don't like a lot of chaos. I'm pretty sure I'm not alone. And I found a quote from Deepak Chopra, and he said, in the midst of movement and chaos, keep stillness inside you. So I'd like some support, please. When you hear me venting about these things, help me just get off the hamster wheel and get back into reality. Nothing's going to change unless I do something. Okay, so your building permit is going to cost plus middle school and recreation fees. Oh, those are your annual taxes. Okay. So what Jody is saying, protect your personal space and your sense of peace. And that's why I got the Wii, because I also had some health issues, stuff which I'm going to talk about a bit more this evening. But it's just like I'm doing what I can to do that. I am actually amazed at the things I've done in my life, but I'll talk about that this evening. Oh, Jeannie's saying the reason they're charging her $5,000, they're saying you are building, not rebuilding. Can they not see the fire damage? Something, I certainly would not argue with City Hall. I would have a lawyer argue with City Hall. It's like those people. The other thing is this, Jeannie. It's about, there's a reason why they say you can't fight City Hall. And the reason is because they put their feet down and their toes in the ground, and that's it. And if they are already warning you, we need your commitment that you will not waive the $5,000, then either you go to a lawyer or you pay up. Do you understand what I'm saying, Jeannie? The only way you can get off that hamster wheel is either pay it, put it in the box and put it away, or go to a lawyer and have once you mention the lawyer, they back down. Yes, there you go. All right, so you see, this is the whole thing. We need to be aware. So I don't have that yet, but nice to know. I noticed that the quotes that I have included the cost of the permits. So maybe I won't have to deal with that, but thank you for giving me so I can be prepared that it could come up. And the difference between prepared and surprised. I think that the whole thing about being prepared for what may come down that they cannot restore. is a huge one for me at the moment, because I'm pretty sure the list of what they can't restore is going to be bigger than I want it to be. The other thing is, and I don't quite know how you do this, I'm going to need to buy things like a new mattress and new bedding and new pillows and new pillow covers and all these things. But until I know how much they're going to pay, what are you going to do? How do you get that money? All right, so do I have to wait until they give me that payment, which is X% of what they value? Like, it's just like, I don't know. Maybe Jeannie has the answer to that because she's been through this with her fire and is going through it. But do you understand? It's like, I've got a lot of things that I'm going to need to buy just to be able to sleep again. Jeannie's saying, our insurance is being awful. We refused the first offer. Sakura's asking, will I need to start working again? No, I don't intend to do that at all. It's not about that. It is about what do I want to spend or not spend. And I agree with Jody. I'm going to spend where it's about safety without question. But the question is, do I just want a new bathroom or do I want a new bathroom that really works for me? And I think I've got to see what is available in terms of, it might be that if I get the regular shower stall, that's not going to work. But if I get one grade up, I can get a door that slides all the way open. So I could walk into it with a walker. The other thing is, how much extra would it be for the wall-to-wall shower? And then again, how much extra would it be if I didn't do the wall-to-wall shower, but put in a shower with a bathtub that I can walk into? I've got to find out what those costs are. And I'm certain that that's pretty easy for me to research in my spare time. But also remember that I hate making decisions in a hurry, all right? I like to make decisions that I can spend time and be comfortable with. I've got to make decisions about what wallpaper. As I said, I think they'll probably give me a couple and say, choose. I've got to make a decision about flooring. Now, I've got to think about the floor that I had was pretty dark. I really like the floor that I had before. And part of me goes that a lighter floor would make the house even brighter. So I'm wondering whether I would consider maybe a light gray floor going through, which, is there. I've got dark floors here, and there's no doubt that, you can see things on a dark floor as well as you can see them on a light floor, as far as I'm concerned. So again, decisions, but if I can get my mind around it before they ask me, it'll help. So lots of decisions, and I think that's what triggered me. I hate making a lot of decisions in a hurry. Now, the next thing is the difference between respect and contempt. I wonder if any of you had any of that this week. If I respect the people that are working, my adjuster and my restoration guy, if I respect them, I will be at peace. If I think they're trying to trick me, I will be in contempt. Does that make sense to everybody? However, talking to Jeannie's point, just because they offer me X doesn't mean I have to get angry. All right? And so the point is, thank you for X, but I can prove that it really needs to be a bit more than this. Jeannie's saying, our new bathroom, like the old, will have lots of space for towels, bath supplies, sheets, etc. Yeah, and that's why I'm saying that I've got to decide whether I want to lose that. I have two cupboards in my bathroom, one behind the door that is a really big cupboard. It's like a closet. And then there was this other one that had sort of bits in it, towels and things. But I don't use towels. I use a robe, and therefore, I don't need towel space there. So I just think I can reorganize and make it a bigger looking bathroom. It isn't a big bathroom to start with. So anything, if I can take, I just thought visually a wall-to-wall shower that I could walk into would look make the bathroom look a lot bigger as well. Could be wrong. So do you understand that if I mistrust the people that are working on both sides of the insurance and on the restoration, I will be in conflict and contempt. But if I respect them, now also bearing in mind who pays them, all right? The assurance adjuster is being paid by the insurance company. So they're going to have the insurance company's best interest at heart. They're going to do this for as little as possible. By the way, the quotes came in at around 108,000 to redo it. I also understand the restoration is being paid by the insurance company. So they're going to do as best they can, but they're not going to spend a dime more than they need to. So now, what I want you to understand is I know that all this is coming at me. So let's see how we all do. If you knew that all this was coming at you in the coming weeks, and by the way, as is Christmas and pandemic as well, what do you think you would recommend I do to keep this all at an even keel? What would you recommend I do to not over stress about it? All right, interesting. Jeannie's saying, having felt so much anger recently, I decided to do something fun yesterday. I bought little items for a girl who takes care of her dog at the vet's office. She was thrilled. Right. And so, this is the whole thing. One of the things I've decided is that as I'm in lockdown, it would make a lot of sense to order some stuff from Amazon, get some paint in, get some coasters in, and make some Christmas presents for my neighbors. It would get me away from the decisions I have to make. It would be creative, use the right-hand side of my brain, and that would be clever. And I know I've sort of going to talk to other people and just go, I've already given one Christmas present because I knew that the Christmas present would be better now than it would be at Christmas. So I already gave one Christmas present like that. And so it's like, what do I want to do? Bernie says, I like decorating in a way so I don't do the work. They just give me choices is better than doing it all yourself. Yeah, it is interesting. Sakura said when her mama went on to build her house and had me decide on stuff, I just looked, pointed, and lived with it. You see, that's what I think I've got to go with my gut. And the other thing is this, maybe they will bring me identical stuff to what I already had. And I did like what I already had. So is anybody dealing with trying to cope with limited funds? Have you noticed you got any feelings about that? I am definitely noticing that I am getting more creative about what I'm cooking. And by the way, I found out, these whiteboard pens? I found that these whiteboard pens work beautifully on the glass of a microwave. I literally, not a black one, obviously, but I've got a yellow one that I use on the white microwave. It's just like, it's really, I've got a list there of what food I've got in the fridge, you know, and I just tick it when I've used it. So I rotate the type of food I'm eating. And actually, I will show you this evening, because I've also found something that I didn't think was going to be nearly as useful as it's turned out to be, but I wanted to show you why it's been so useful to me. Jody's saying, with the limited funds, prices are definitely rising. Yes, so that means that we need to get more creative. Jeannie's saying, I'm cooking chicken breasts in oven tonight with shallots, mushrooms, sweet peppers, and cauliflower. It sounds very healthy. I don't know about the rest of you, but I no longer eat a full chicken breast. When I get my chicken breasts, I cut them in half. And that's part of my portion control. You know, when I get a steak, I cut it in half. And so I had a pork tenderloin that I cooked up as one, and then I cut it into enough pieces for 4 meals. So, you know, this is like, I'm getting so that I can eat less meat and more vegetables. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. I would like to say that it's not that and that's why I have the list on my my microwave to remind me what I've got in there that I can rotate. I made Scotch eggs yesterday. For those of you who don't know what a Scotch egg is, it is a boiled egg wrapped in a hamburger, a mix of beef and pork. And so you literally, you know, make a patty of it, and then you put the egg on top, and then you just wrap the mince around it, the minced meat around it. And then I cook that up. And I had one yesterday for lunch, and I'll have another one after I finish the broadcast today. It's pure protein because it's meat and egg. But boy, that really did a great job. And I'll talk again. I want to talk a little bit about what I did to lower my blood sugar. They are perfect for a low carb diet, says Jody. Yeah, and we'll talk about that a bit more. So if we know that the prices are going up and will continue to go up, what other solutions have you found? That's, I guess, what I need to know. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not drinking coffee today. I'm drinking warm water with a lemon and orange in it. Now, the reason, I don't know why, I find if it's warm, I drink it a lot more than if it's cold. Interesting. Jeannie's saying that she looks for the sales each week. Yes, that's a great way to shop. All right, go for what's on sale, even if you can't use it this week. Niash is saying, I hate it when my doctors provide me with options that they think they can prove and disregard what I think is best for me. Can you give us for instance, can you give us an example of that, Niasha, so we can get a better idea of what you're dealing with? Bernice is saying, think about eating basics, all right? I've been eating more bread, which I know is bad, but I have no appetite, and bread helps my throat and is filling. All right, so that again, Bernice, one of the things, as you know, is that I cook my own sourdough bread. Why? Because sourdough is less harmful for me as a pre-diabetic than regular bread. But I find that actually cooking it myself limits the amount that I do. And I only cook like one bun, if you like, for myself. And that lasts me 2 days normally. So that's one way. How about, I like this quote, and it said, "We live in a rainbow of chaos." Isn't that beautiful? If we can live in the rainbow above the chaos, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Jody's saying, "I've been meal prepping and freezer banking with items on sale." Yes. I actually am forcing myself not to buy as much. That's my big thing. I don't want to waste any more, and therefore I need to buy less. For example, I also buy differently. Raspberries are on sale, so I bought, raspberries go off very quickly. So I bought them and immediately put them in the freezer. And I use them in my yogurt, and I use them in my, if I have a smoothie. I also have a bag of frozen fruit, of mixed fruit. I bought a big bag so that, like last night, I had 1 cup of fruit with 1 cup of yogurt. And what I did was I blended it all together. And I turned it into 2 cup servings. One I put in the freezer. I will have that tonight. And the other one I had, and it was wonderful. All right, so Bernice is saying, yes, my blood sugar isn't rising either because I eat small amounts. Drinking water also low, but fighting to increase it. I found drinking warm water with just a couple of slices of lemon and orange works really well. All right, so Jody is saying, Sal, we're lamenting that the 10-foot freezer wasn't available. The 7-foot is filling up quickly, but we're grateful to have the 7-foot. We waited a long time. You know something? I'm beginning to fill up this freezer. Why? It's insane how much I've got in the freezer already. And, I've got a dirty great deep freeze full of stuff and a freezer at the other end as well. So, I need to be aware. Coping with people. I found that this week, the feelings, I'm not somebody that asks for help very easily. I don't know if any of you are like that, but I have over the last couple of weeks called for help. I'm pleased to tell you that all the crowd that came out of the shed and went into the carport has now gone. And, the sad thing was, and this was a lot of stress for me this week, somebody took, thank you, Jody. Somebody took some bottles of oil and stuff and put them in a box at the end of my driveway, and somebody else drove over the box. And then I had a big thing where the community person was all over my case that I had to get that cleaned up. And it was a nightmare. The interesting thing was that when I went to go and clean it up, because obviously I wasn't there, one of my neighbors actually was busy doing it for me, which was very kind. But, it was so funny because when I had the conversation, the person kept saying, you shouldn't allow this. And I said, I didn't do it. Somebody else did it. But, I'm going, ma'am, it's not changing anything. You getting angry with me because I didn't do it. And I don't want to have an argument with you about something that it's been done. I will do what I can to correct it. But I did not do this. Well, it's outside you. I said, I understand, and I am prepared to do what I can to get it sorted. But you understand, I had to really be very careful because I was ready to, people who want me to change what's already happened, you can't do that. Bernice is saying, maybe have a week of no grocery shopping and just use up what you have in the freezer. I've been wanting to do that, but I'm just not there yet. One of the things that I think helps is that there should be a couple of days in the week where you eat from the freezer, not fresh. All right, so Nyasha's giving us the example. Nyasha said, I had a tendency to explain myself in depth, but no one was listening to me. They either don't care to understand or they're viewing it from what they have learned. Okay, so you don't feel you're being heard. Is that correct, Nyasha? Whilst I'm waiting. Okay, so that is frustration. But on the other hand, Nyasha, if I can look at both sides of it, if you think about it from your doctor's point of view, if he only has this amount of time and you're over explaining everything, can you see that they're going to get frustrated as well? So one of the things that you might want to consider is before you go to the doctor, make sure you've got in bullet points what you want to discuss and facts only. And, you know, you'll be amazed what a difference it makes to them. All right. Not, well, you know, I got up on Thursday and this happened and this happened. If they want to know about that, they'll ask you. So, for example, if I've got, let's say, a toe that is worrying me, I will start by saying, I've got a problem with my right toe. My doctor will say what's wrong with it, and I will say it is hurting me at the end. The tip of the toe is hurting me. And then I'll wait for his next question. You see, he will ask the questions he needs to ask to get the answers that he wants. All right? He doesn't want to know that you got up on Thursday and, you know, unless you got up on Thursday and slammed that toe against something, yes, he needs to know that. Yeah. Jody's also, you know, Jody has to do the same thing. And she's saying maximizing every moment of face-to-face time is important. Organizing your thoughts and having clarity is key. I totally agree. Think about that from their point of view. All right? Get facts together, don't editorialize it. So that's what wastes their time. And they only have a very small amount of time where they need to hear, diagnose, and then problem solve. That's, you know, imagine making those decisions every 15 minutes with a new person. Scary stuff. You know, and what if you're wrong? Yeah. All right, Jody says, I go into the office and hand a clipboard over to the doctor. Yes, I tried that with my doctor once and he just about went insane. Because I used to do the same. And now I found out he actually prefers to ask the questions. So that's fine. By the way, if I've got a lot of things, I actually will do the same thing, Jody. I'll type it up and give it to him. Why? I want it on file that I talked about these things. Jody's saying, her doctor says, Anne, what have you got for me today, right? Because she knows you're going to come prepared. It's a pleasure, Nyasha. And, you know, again, you know, for most of your life, you didn't look after those things for yourself. Your parents looked after it for you. Now that you're taking accountability, you've got to learn how to do these things. So, you know, and I would recommend that before you go to the doctor, maybe speak to Jody or myself and, you know, send a note of what you want to talk to the doctor about. And maybe we can help you get down to the facts, the things you should say, not and leave out these bits. And then you can take it with you in written form. What do you think? Would that help you? Just until you get the idea of it. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that Jody would be pleased to help. And in fact, any of us would. Now, I want to talk about coping with difficult people for a second, because, that is all a very subjective thing. When I say subjective, it's about some people will see some people as nice people, and some people will see people as not nice people. And it's the same person. It depends on who is making the judgment. We've got a lady in the community that is seen to be an absolute busybody, nosy Parker. But when I had this problem at my house this week, guess who was there fixing it and spending her own money to fix it without being asked? The nosy Parker. And so it was amazing, because I went there and I worked with her. And when she'd finished, I said to her, I cannot thank you enough for what you did to help me today. And obviously I asked how much did she spend, and I gave her back the money. But then I said to her, I wonder if I could give you a hug. And she looked at me like, what? and she thought about it for a split second and then said, okay. And I gave her one. And I was wearing a mask, and it was just like, I really wanted her to know how much I appreciated what she did. So she might be a busybody, nosy Parker, but for me, she tried to help me. And I really appreciated that. So Nyasha is giving some words around what's happening to her. She is saying to the doctor, because she always says things like, because I read da-da-da-da-da. And then they ignore everything you say after that. Yeah, exactly. Because that's like, I'm the doctor, don't tell me. All right, let me make that decision, don't tell me. You might say, I'm only bringing it up because it was mentioned to me that this can be a concern. Stop. Do you understand? Or somebody suggested I might mention this to you because you might need to know about it. That's a whole different thing. But, most doctors hate it that we do so much checking online. Because we just, in 9 times out of 10, we misdiagnose ourselves. Jody's saying, she's saying, if you find value in the broadcast today, please help. Yeah, that's very kind. Thank you very much, Jody, and I appreciated your donation. I want to talk for a second about coping with the chaos. Because how many of you think it's about to get a whole lot more chaotic? And that is what I wanted to talk to you about. Nyasha's asking a question about her doctors. I can't say what they are thinking because I haven't talked to them, but I try to put myself in their position. And if I had a patient who kept saying, well, I've read da-da-da-da-da-da, it's like, really, I don't care what you've read. Tell me the facts and I'll make the decision, is how I think I would react. Bernice is saying, Nyasha, what I do is write the things I'm experiencing with a date and time. So it is, in fact, a fact. Any concerns I have, I say, I'm concerned about this. What do you think? She lets the doctor figure it out. That's their job. I thought this was Henry Adams said that chaos was the law of nature. Order was the dream of man. Jeannie is asking yet again if I've been to the post office. No, I'm in lockdown, Jeannie. And for another week. So I have to be very careful about where I go. But I'm certain whatever it is that you sent is there, and it'll be fine. The post office knows to not return anything because they know I don't come in very often. And quite honestly, if they think it should be returned, they will phone me and let me know. Okay. Hey, Nash is saying, okay, I'll change the way I speak then. That's what this is all about, right? Is finding a way that works for you. But Jeannie, I am certain it doesn't take away from your kind thoughts, and I appreciate that. And so Mindy McCready said, I call my life a beautiful mess and organized chaos. It's always been like that. My entire life things have been attracted to me and vice versa, that turn into chaotic nightmares, or I create the chaos myself. How many of you, when you think about it, can see that a lot of the chaos you have is self-inflicted? I am trying to do whatever I can to minimize the chaos. I am working really hard at minimizing everything at the moment in this place. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not collecting things. I am. It's what I do. And you know, I want to talk to part of that with you this evening. So you understand, it's just like, it's about being more aware, I think. And I would suggest that probably we're all more aware because of the pandemic, more aware of how much food we cannot afford to buy anymore, and therefore we need to be more frugal about what we buy. But we also need to not overbuy. I think it is quite horrific how much food we waste. I am delighted that I am wasting very little food these days. Jeannie's saying, I'm staying away from the chaos, writing lists, being polite to most folks, and watching for sales. Exactly. That's being prepared and not scared. And I'm actually trying to work now on a weekly list. What things do I absolutely have to have every week? And then what do I want to have? I allow myself to get one new meat each week. All right, so that I'm constantly rotating. For example, I will have a delivery tomorrow, and one of the things I have is I have a turkey breast coming. Now we know a turkey breast I'm going to be able to cook up and use it on salads and use it on, for a meal. So I will cook the whole thing up and slice it up, and then have it packaged so that I can use it. And so a lot of my stuff, I have some of it for lunchtime, some of it for dinner. And that's how I'm cooking it up now. And so I look at it and go, oh, Jody's saying, we spent our budget for extras on items for an amazing salad with blueberries and feta, sprouts and tomatoes. It will last 4 nights. Exactly. I have extra feta cheese in the fridge. And because I did have feta cheese, I said, what do I need to use the feta cheese? And I decided I need to eat more salads. So I bought extra salad this week so I can throw more feta cheese in and use up the feta cheese. And by the way, I'm thinking I'm having chicken tomorrow. Maybe tonight I'll have chicken, but I'm thinking I might actually have chicken with feta cheese as a sauce of some sort, a feta cheese sauce over it. I've got a cream sauce, cheese sauce, and I'm thinking I might just sprinkle some feta in there and use it up that way as well. So when you think about it, our feelings are a pretty good indicator of our stress level. I've often said that if you want to know how stressed I am, have a look around my house. Because if I'm not stressed, I'm inclined to be fairly well organized and tidy. If I'm stressed, that's not true. Do any of you find that as well? Just let me know if you can relate to that. And I noticed that this week I was getting less tidy. And so what I did was I became very aware. And once I got aware, I could do something about it. And by the way, I didn't overdo everything. I went back to my basic list that every morning I asked myself, the first thing on my list every morning is my blood glucose. That's the first thing I do in the morning. No, I lie. I make coffee. And when I sit down, the first thing I do is, before I drink the coffee, is to take my blood glucose. Then I ask myself, have I taken my meds? Have I had a shower? Have I, tidied up the bathroom? Have I tidied up the bedroom? Have I tidied up the kitchen? Have I tidied up the living room? Not cleaned it, just have I tidied it? Is it tidy? If I had a surprise visitor, even though I'm in lockdown, we know that's not going to happen. But if I had a surprise visitor, is the place basically tidy? I can worry about cleaning later. Do any of you do that? It was a trick that I read somewhere, which is don't try and clean every day. Tidy every day, right? Jeannie's saying she makes her bed every morning. Yeah, I think most people do, Jeannie. Make your bed every day. I have a very small washing machine, so I do a wash almost every day. Jody's saying an organized space is calming to me. Yes, so that's what I'm trying to do. And I have little groups I have papers that whenever I find something that's to do with admin, I have a place where I put it now in this house that isn't mine. But right now I've got all sorts of crud next to me that needs to be tidied up. And I will be doing that when I've finished. So get a routine because it helps minimize the chaos. Jody's saying, I'm not saying that we've achieved organization, but we're getting there. I think the fact that you're taking steps towards it, it's the journey that is the fun of it, right? Where you can get up in the morning and go, that's definitely better. I literally will look at a room, as you know. I look at a room and I go, what one thing could I do that would make this tidier? Right? And sometimes I've done things that make it way more untidy. And then I ask myself, do you really need it to be this untidy? And I'll talk a bit about that this evening. I'm going to move my computer over to the kitchen area so I can talk around some stuff there in terms of, how I'm coping with life. And so I think it's really important that, okay, that's really confusing to me. Jeannie's saying, I make our bed every morning, then I go outside and get our newspaper, read it, prepare my breakfast while York sleeps. How do you make your bed if York's in it? Or is he in a separate bed? It's like somewhere that doesn't tally in my mind. So I've got this wrong in some way. Melody Beatty said, gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast and a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Okay, but if you've already made the bed, how can York still be sleeping? Because you said you get up in the morning, make the bed, and then you go out, get the paper, read it, da 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 da. So, but you said while York sleeps. Ah, okay. So I wasn't the only one, Jody, right? You saw my point. It's like, I got something wrong here. But we get the general idea, I think, Jeannie. Let's put it that way. All right, so how about this one? Think about this for a second, people. How about blame is just a lazy person's way of making sense of chaos? How many of you can relate to that? When your life gets into chaos, we blame other things and other people. Does anybody relate to that? So to me, part of our fitness group is all about, not having excuses and not blaming other people. It's just being accountable for our own stuff. And, it is really interesting to me how life changes when we do take accountability. Hence the reason I know that I was pretty sure you'd all agree with me about the Christmas present thing, that everybody would understand, all my friends, and not worry about it. But then I started to wonder, am I just using that as an excuse because I don't want to overload myself? And really, if this were the last Christmas that I got to celebrate, would I want to make a little bit more effort than I'm doing? Do you understand where the balance is in that? And, maybe I don't buy a whole lot of presents, but maybe I do some little cards that I've done original art on. Does that make sense? In other words, it doesn't have to be a fancy present, just that I did something that showed I took a bit of time. Bob Dylan said, chaos is a friend of mine. So I've got chaos. I'm good about creating chaos in my fridge. And why? That's what I'm going to show you this evening. I really do want you to see that what is happening to me is a repeat of what happens to me all over the place. All right, so Jeannie's saying, I had fun finding main gifts of goat soap. I bought 6 peak bars. Yes, if you find a deal like that, it's a lovely idea. Jody's saying it comes from a feeling comfortable with the amount of effort you put into projects, feeling at peace and knowing whatever you do, it'll be received with gratitude. Yes, so I do know that I am capable of making some cookie dough. And I am capable of, even if people, don't eat cookies, it's not about that, is it? It's about the thought that counts. And so what do I also know? I really love making chocolate covered marshmallows. Easy to make. I can order that from the grocery store next week. Jody, could you make a note? Chocolate covered marshmallows. Because they're easy to make and people enjoy them. And so, to me, it's like, it's what could I do that showed willing? I can order some containers and just fill those up. At least I know that's done. Yeah. And quite honestly, I do need to buy some stuff for the children, but, maybe I send money to the children and let them go buy what they want. this to me, it's just so that they get what they want for Christmas, not what I think they want. However, what do I know about the children? They love the little stuff, right? They love the stickers and the coloring books and whatever. So I will try and get something like that I can put in a box and send it down to them. Yeah, isn't that funny, Jody? If you saw that when I sent Juliana her birthday present, she literally took the money and put it aside, and what she focused on was the fluffy pen that was in the card. There was a pen with lots of fuzzy things on top. Right. And Bernice is saying they love activities with you and story time. I want to tell you the last time I did an activity with them, it was so funny. It was so chaotic. It was such fun for them. And, half an hour goes by just like that, because I just make up things for them to do. And the last game I had was they had to, I decided that all the flooring was water, the carpet was land, and the sofas were like mountains. So I made sure they all understood that. Then I drew things like you have to stand on the water and throw, I got them to get rolled up socks and a container from the kitchen, like a bowl. And first thing was, put the bowl on top of the mountain. Then go stand in the river, in the water. And you have to huck your socks into the bowl on the mountain from where you are in the river. And it was just amazing, such a simple thing. We had half an hour of absolute chaos. It was such fun. They loved it. And then it was like, stand on the mountain and get to the river without standing on any land. It's stuff like that. And it was just like, it was all possible to do. You just had to think about, where am I going to get off the couch? And you had to go from one couch to another to get, So I like things where they got to think about things. And I miss them terribly, as you all know. But it is what it is. Yeah, I really do try to. And the other thing I do, Bernice, is I will give them a heads up. Sometimes I will speak to Judy and say, all right, this week I want them to teach me something. All right, so their job is actually to teach me something. So Juliana normally teaches me how to draw a dog or something, and then the girls will teach me something completely different. It's just like, and it's amazing what they come up with. It's just like, okay, we can do this. Life is full of surprises. New opportunities come up. That's part of the fun. The adventures of life. The thing is, chaos doesn't allow us to enjoy the adventure. So to me, the temperature has changed. To me, what I would like to say is that if we don't expect chaos, we will be surprised. So let's be prepared for more chaos in the coming weeks. Jody's saying, I enjoy hearing of the creative games you enjoy with the girls. It's so heartwarming. Well, to me, it's like I want them to look forward to the times we have together. And we actually send each other emojis a lot. The girls, I literally will send an emoji. And Juliana asked me this week, if I had a pet, what would I call it? And I said, well, it would depend what sort of pet, and so I was, did she know what sort of pet it was? Now, I don't know about you, but I'd call, a gerbil one name and a kitten another. It's just like they're not the same to me. There would be different sorts of names. So I got quite excited thinking maybe they're going to get a pet. Yeah. But we'll wait and see. So guys, let's be prepared for more chaos. Let's be aware that we are going to see so much more happening in the coming weeks. I think that we will see, the numbers on the COVID continue to rise, and it'll be frightening for a lot of us. But we cannot change that. All we can do is stay as safe as we can. Bernice is saying next week is chaotic for me because I need to pack for the next Friday. We're going to Mom and Dad's. I have to fit all of it into a carry-on. And she said, if you know me, I overpack big time, especially now. All right, so the question is, Bernice, I have found that I actually can pack pretty well. I think it's because of all my years of packing. So, it's where you're going. Is it warm or cold? I don't know where Mom and Dad live now. Okay, so the weather there is, I don't know much about Texas weather. So it's both warm and cold. Okay, so maybe you think about that. And, it's like, how long are you going for? You see, that's the trick. How long are you going for? And a week or more than a week. Okay, let's say it's going to be 2 weeks. And think about this, because I can pack pretty well for a couple of weeks in almost an overnight bag. You've got to think about that. How many pairs? I mean, are you inclined to wear trousers during the day, or pants rather, or are you inclined to wear dresses? Because my question to all of you, I've lived with 3 different outfits for over a month. Okay, so Bernice, I wear leggings and a shirt. Okay, good. You need at least, and leggings don't take up a lot of space in a suitcase. So I take 3 pairs of leggings. I would only take 1 jacket. 2 at tops. 1 I would wear on the way down, but the other I would pack. So I would take, I have lots of different leggings, probably take 4 lots of leggings or even 6, because that can change up the colors and the styles. And then take maybe 3 or 4 tops that you can use with each of them, but get the jackets that will go with any of them. So, you understand what I'm saying? It's like, can you mix and match? Remembering that if you're there for 2 weeks, you're going to have stuff in the laundry. And that's really important. The other thing is, how many pairs of shoes do you really need? All right, that's a big item. So I would recommend you take 1 pair of shoes that you can walk in. I'd recommend 1 pair of shoes that you can go out, take 1 outfit you can go out to dinner in. You only bring 1 pair of shoes and 1 pair of sandals. Okay, that's good. So you got that one covered. The other thing is, how much makeup do you take? Or let me ask you something. Where do you find you overpack? What items do you realize that you overpack on? Because, all right, comfort items means nothing to me because I don't know what they are for you. All right? Yeah, see, in Jodie's case, her makeup takes up more room than her clothes. Totally get that. But you know, this is why we got to find out what comfort items means to Benny's, because why do you take your own blanket and pillow? Food you can buy down there. Don't take it with you. Okay, if your blanket and pillow are essential to your sleep, then obviously you need to take them with you. But you know, quite honestly, unless you got room, I wouldn't take food. I'd buy it there. Maybe take enough food for one day, whatever the special food is. All right, toiletries again. All right, are you taking big size toiletries or are you taking travel size toiletries? Because I would go to the store and get travel size toiletry. And you bring small ones. Okay, so that doesn't take up very much space. You should be able to get most of your toiletries into a pretty small area. Okay, bye, Jeannie. Good to see you. Okay, Sakura, I understand that. But again, you can buy it there. Yeah, absolutely. I would take a couple of those. I'm not going to talk about it online, but take a couple of with you, maybe 4, and then buy when you're there. And if necessary, leave it there as well. Yeah. So all the time, what you're looking for is how can I get smaller? All right. The other thing, remember to, yeah, that's right. And you know, if you roll things up, they take up far less space. I want to tell you, if I go traveling, I buy stuff at the other end. A lot of the stuff I don't take with me. And by the way, same with clothes. You know, if you take 6 pairs of leggings and 3 or 4 pairs of leggings and 4 shirts that you can interchange, if you really find that, oh gosh, I needed a cardigan, go get one. All right, rather than take 4 with you, you know, get one. It's probably time. So everybody, I'm going to get out of here. And what I want you to make sure that you all are aware of is that chaos is part of our lives. It's going to get worse. The whole chaos about the election is probably going to get worse before it gets better. The whole chaos about the pandemic is probably going to get worse before it gets better. The whole chaos of my life is going to probably get a little bit worse before it gets any better. And our job is just to stay above it as best we can. Oh, Bernice, there's something I wanted to just show you. It's something that I bought. Hold on a second, honey. Wait 1 second. I don't know if you remember, but when I shopped for emergency things, one of the things I got, and I got it in Walmart, is like this poncho type thing, except, you know, it's like a blankie that you can wear as a shawl. And I was thinking, you know, if you are dealing with cold mornings or whatever, this probably be a really great thing for you to have, all right? Because you know, it's warm. You could wear it on the plane. Quite honestly, you can use it as an extra blankie if you need to. Right, you got one. Okay, so also if it's raining, you can still use it. As so to me, it's like if you're dealing with the changing temperatures, this is really useful. All right, or in my case, as you know, I have tracksuits. And the reason I like tracksuits is because I can change them up, right? By right, wearing it with or without the jacket. And this is warm, but guess what? If I get even more cold, I can still put this over the top. Get the idea? So maybe think about what can you take? Always take stuff that can change. Don't take stuff, I can only wear this shirt with this pair of leggings. That's the trick, all right? I buy my stuff so they interchange. And, that to me is the whole secret. I can wear white under this and it'll look great. I can wear black under it. I can wear gray underneath it. That's all good. I have a blue one. I can wear white. I can wear gray under it, because it's blue. And so I can interchange it and have completely different coloring. I'm glad you like the quilt, by the way. I literally cuddle up underneath that every night while I watch television, and then I go to bed. And did you guys see the blankie that they gave me? I'll show you this evening, but the blankie that I originally had in the fire, the one that they lent me, I can't remember if I showed it to you guys, but it now belongs to me. And so if you remind me, I will show you tonight. This is DearMamaSal saying, guys, life is chaotic. And if we understand it is our job to keep the pressure down, to get as organized as we possibly can with all the chaos. And also remember what we said to Amber, all right? Autumn, rather, which is take each bit, do as much as you can and put it away for today. Take the next bit, do as much as you can, put it away for the day. Don't keep trying to do stuff over and over and over. This is like, okay, I've done my bit on that one today. Just keep doing one step at a time on all the bits of chaos. All right. So have a wonderful afternoon. I will see you this evening. This is DearMamaSal saying bye-bye for now.